Hi everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm representing Kenzie Academy and sharing with you all how we leverage peer learning communities to help our non-traditional learners advance their careers. First and foremost, hello. I am Alice Zhao. I am the Technical Product Manager at Kenzie Academy from SNHU. I have spent many years developing EdTech products as a product manager, and now working at Kenzie Academy has really given me the unique opportunity to combine my experience as a software developer as well as a product manager, and now really solving problems in the technology education space. But really, we're here to talk about Kenzie Academy. Um, First and foremost, we are an online coding and technical school. But most importantly, Kenzie Academy was created with a specific purpose of providing access to high quality technology education to a wide range of learners with very diverse backgrounds. We work incredibly hard to make this as accessible and inclusive as possible. Currently, we have certificate programs in software engineering, cybersecurity, and UX design, but we also have worked towards expanding financial aid options to make this type of education very financially accessible. But ultimately, our goal is to provide the best education and support to provide pathways for everyone into the tech industry. Today, I'd really like to also highlight one of our partners. We work directly with Amazon to offer technical programs to for their existing employees, and that's through the Amazon Career Choice Program. That this gives existing Amazon employees the opportunity to learn new programming skills in order to level up their careers. Similarly, we are also working with the Amazon Technical Academy. We are one of two partners with ATA to offer a very rigorous program in software engineering backend development. We're able to take a program that was originally only offered to Amazon employees and now provide it to a wider market with a possibility of getting a software engineering job at Amazon. So we are very excited about this partnership. But let's look at what life at Kenzie was like about a year ago, where we identified the need for scaling our learner support. Just to brag a little bit, I feel very incredibly lucky to work with such like teams of such dedicated senior software engineers, senior UX engineers, facilitators, and coaches. They are the absolute hearts of and keys to our program success. They are the heart of Kenzie Academy. They help onboard learners to our program, but really set the stage and spread our unique Kenzie culture of hard work, accountability, and just paying it forward. Day to day, they are providing academic and learner support, encouraging peer to peer interactions. And we also have teams that work with our learners to help prepare them to reach their employment goals. But over time, we realized we could not sustain our current model of traditional learning and support. Our instructional teams found themselves in countless one-to-one sessions. This probably sounds super familiar, but in doing so, they also found themselves answering the same questions over and over again. Um, they couldn't be accessed at all the hours our learners were working on materials, which you'll see soon that is well past the 9 to 5 typical hours. And even over the weekends, our learners are absolutely working on materials over the weekends, but we were limited in our support and as well, we were just moving towards a flexible learning schedule. We were formerly 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, fully synchronous, and we have moved towards what we're calling a semi-synchronous model. So I want to give you a little bit of color around what our learner body looks like, and this probably will also feel very familiar to you. As we move towards a more semi-synchronous model, this meant that we could provide this program not just to folks who are full-time or part-time workers, but folks who were full-time and typical 9 to 5, full-time second shift or third shift. We have folks who are part-time, full-time students, as well as those with highly inconsistent schedules. So this sounds familiar to you. These are the same folks we are trying to solve for. And just for some additional context, at the beginning of our first cohort in September that went with the new semi-synchronous model, we took a poll of their schedules, their work schedules, and what we found was that our learners are very busy. 56.1 of our learners work 30 plus hours. And on top of that, Kenzie Academy expects or recommends learners to dedicate between 30 to 40 hours a week to coursework. On top of that, we also have, their regular lives, their families, their friends, just trying for them to put all this together and attain work-life balance. I commend all of our learners for getting through our programs. But that also it puts the charge on the product team to make a product and academics team to make sure we can accommodate learners with these types of schedules. So we introduced digital communities to help solve this problem. We thought about the differences between a a discussion board versus a digital community. And what we found was that we were really looking for something that was more organic, more peer to peer, but really also modeled around less on a discussion over a specific topic, but really a question and answer, organic peer to peer feel. And that's what we found within Scribe. So to kick us off, as I mentioned, our first cohort went semi-synchronous in September. So we created a community specific to that cohort. Then subsequently, we expanded it to all of our new programs in January of 2022. We create communities for those as well. On top of that, we wouldn't be quite in a coding or engineering school if we didn't do something super custom. So while you don't have to go as custom as what we've done, Inscribe definitely has plug and play LTI solutions for your LMS. We opted for something highly custom, and our development team created this panel is what you're seeing on the right. So what you're looking at is our LMS. You're on a page teaching you about just opening up the terminal and using the terminal. And with the panel on the right, it is really pulling in Inscribe's content around this specific topic. So you'll see that we are pulling in videos that are specific to intro to the terminal. We are pulling in conversations that classmates are having on this topic as they're looking at this material. So we're really providing this fully fleshed experience within the LMS and surfacing ancillary Inscribe content directly next to the topic that they are reading about. So how do we make this happen? So far we've set up communities. We have a deeply integrated solution, even though for the rest of you that is not required. And then we knew that we also needed the help of to make sure we get adoption into this community from our facilitation team. We fortunately had buy-in from our facilitators for into the success of Inscribe from day one. They knew that they we're going to be directing any and all curriculum based conversations from our Slack over to Inscribe. So, what happened? What does that mean? It means that anytime anyone asked a question, they said, hey, you know what? That sounds like a very great question that would work really well in Inscribe. So, not only were they encouraging those topics to be discussed over in Inscribe, they also communicated the benefits of Inscribe. So, in other words, they said, we would love to answer this question. Let's do it over Inscribe and share that with the rest of your cohort. And actively communicating this benefit really like instills the need. Oh, then all new questions should just really go in Inscribe. So we've had so much success being able to direct questions over to Inscribe, and that just made the adoption very, very easy. So we've got folks headed over to Inscribe. Let's take a look at what's happening over there. One of the first things we noticed was that there was just this drastic reduction in just duplicate questions. We weren't getting 20 people asking the same facilitator at different times, the same exact question, and having the same answer shared 20 times. We had questions posted, replies, they were reviewed, and if either facilitators or other peers were ready to help, they were able to do so in the replies, but also be able to share this entire interaction with each other on Inscribe. So all of this transparency really helped reduce that duplicate experience or duplicate answer experience. You'll see that's highlighted in orange that there is just so many people watching and reading, having read this reply. And so having read this reply, they knew they did not need to go back and ask that same exact question. One of the most beautiful things that we've seen happen, and perhaps this is a product of our having wide learner experiences or backgrounds, is that for example, coming into this program, some people have lots of experience in technology, and some are just completely brand new. And what we found was that we had lots of folks that did have prior experience were really willing to help the ones that were clearly new. I think it was just a sense of, hey, I've been there. It was not an easy road. Let me help you out. And also just knowing that, our staff wasn't available 24/7. And since they were watching these boards, they were also responding as well. So we had folks posting questions and really several learners just piling in saying, I've tried this. How about taking a look at this resource? And here's a solution that could work for you as well. And then just allowing this peer-to-peer learning experience that's been quite beautiful to see. Additionally, we've just seen students encourage each other. Part of me wants to know if it's just our Kenzie culture or just how it is on Inscribe, but I just absolutely love how willing everyone is to encourage each other, because they know this is very, very hard. This, especially the course we have in back-end development, is just an extremely rigorous and fast-paced course. And early on, it's just catching up to speed, and it's very easy to get lost without your peer support. And so here you see just lovely examples of those who are saying, you're not alone. I've been in your shoes. Just hang in there. And it's just a wonderful experience, and it's just really building that connection from learner to learner. And operationally, we are seeing the huge benefits in just being able to have support at any time. We have learners coming in. We know that there's learners that don't actually start their Kenzie experience until midnight because they work all day. They work at midnight to 6, and here you can see that there's activity and replies happening at all times of the day outside of that typical 9 to 5 experience. And then I just wanted to also just look at our general activity on the course over the course. What you see here is our backend development community, and you can see, there was a little dip here only because they were in the beginning of the year because they were wrapping up their first quarter, finishing up their capstone projects, really working with each other. And then once they started the second quarter, which was January 25th, you saw the big spike. And then this just is very, very regular activity, consistent activity throughout this last quarter up until the time I pulled this data. So what is happening in that, and what does activity mean in Inscribe? There's a view where you can delineate what is, how many questions are being asked, how many answers are being provided, and even replies on top of the answers, how many posts are being shared outside of, like through email or social media. So this is just a wonderful example of just how the different types of activity attribute to just like this general hum of peer-to-peer interaction throughout the course. And then here, just as another view of the different types of things that members are viewing. So there's a conversation, which is really the question and answer, and then resources are just resources that are specifically coming from the moderators or the facilitators. They're usually just additional things that they have found that said, oh, this might help you as well. Check out this resource. This might help you get through the assignment. So what are our outcomes? Oh boy. So scaling support was our just to figure out what scale looks like. We found out we could scale. We could scale the support. We could scale the number of learners we can support with our existing crew. This was a huge proof of concept that we could move towards this model. We decreased the number of one-to-one support sessions needed. We went from 15 on average during the busy season to about 3 to 4 per week. What does this mean overall? It means we're also able to spend more time with learners that need higher levels of intervention. It also means we can spend more time doing grading. Grading, as I'm sure you feel, is also extremely time consuming. And we found that the higher quality feedback we can provide, the deeper levels of learning there are. And so not having to spend all the time in support sessions as learners are using, leveraging their peers as support, we're able to provide high quality feedback in the grading. But I also don't want to talk about it just from the operations point of view. I want you to hear directly from our learners. We spent time interviewing our learners. These 3 learners were polled at that early on into that first cohort. So the first one is Eric. He did come in with previous experience in technology. He is one of our gems that was recognized quickly that he had the answers to a lot, or he had the understanding of the material in the very beginning and was very, very willing to help those who were just completely brand new. So he said, I want to respond to my classmates' questions quickly so I can assist them with staying in the flow of writing code. I check all Inscribe email notifications to see if I can help. Additionally, after that quarter, we invited him to become the coach for the incoming January cohort. So he is not only helping his current cohort fellow classmates, he's also helping the new ones coming in. And it's just been a really great experience for Eric and for us as well. We also have a quote from Lori, who at that time was brand new to software development, but she was catching on quickly, although also finding Inscribe to be very helpful. She says, Inscribe honestly is great. It is like a virtual classroom. I get a response fairly quickly. I can ask whenever I want, basically. And while I'm reading, I'll see other folks on the assignment and I wonder how they are ahead already. So it's just lovely to see that this transparency of the questions being asked, like the history of what's been asked, has really just helped Lori kind of level set where she is in comparison with the rest of her class, but also know who she can ask for help. Then we also have a quote from Pam, who is also brand new to software development, but she was definitely struggling in the beginning because everything was very overwhelming. Her schedule is also extremely inconsistent, so she was struggling to find her footing in this new model. And she said, always have Inscribe open. I do not close this. She was very adamant, by the way. The first thing I do is look at the title of each post. I don't make a lot of comments, but I do a lot of reading. I'm afraid to reply with the wrong answer. I need to build up the confidence to post. Spoiler alert, later on in that quarter, all three of these have become very regular contributors on Inscribe, helping each other out, really getting through this experience together. So, what is next for Kenzie Academy and Inscribe? Well, we currently started out, or we started out with having individual communities for each cohort. And now we're in the middle of a reorg where the programs are really at the community, and then individual channels will be the cohorts. And so we'll be mixing the cohort experience. There will be a database of all the questions previously answered that new cohorts will be able to view. And so you're really, as the more cohorts go through our Inscribe instance, they'll be building upon the library of questions and answers that new cohorts can benefit from. We're also looking at implementing Inscribe across the full learner cycle. We started kind of in the middle for the active learner. We're trying to experiment with what does it look like in pre-start. How do we develop this community feel before day one of the curriculum? And then afterwards, what does it look like to extend this to the alumni experience? So overall, we've just had so much success utilizing these digital communities and helping us prove out our model of support. I encourage you all to consider this type of solution as you are also probably thinking of scale or just trying to build community overall. I am on LinkedIn. You can reach out at any time. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you for listening.